No one believed this cute girl was the strongest ice witch, the bringer of the world's destruction. Discarded by her father, her mother worked until her body gave out. A truly tragic childhood. Her father eventually took her in but offered no love. That cold neglect birthed a monster. Too late, Sejun realized his mistake. He risked everything to save his daughter from fate, but he was powerless against the Sword Saint. He fell in a single, heart-wrenching moment. Witnessing his death, Sei's rage exploded. A blizzard of destruction consumed the entire world. Sejun wakes up in the year 2025. A miracle? He has actually returned to the past. The doorbell rings. It's the day 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 returns with his daughter, Sei. A fated encounter. He's stunned by the timing. The system activates. Prevent the 5 tragedies of the Ice Witch. In the past, he cruelly abandoned them. He had accused 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 of ultimate betrayal. Those hateful words destroyed Sei's heart. This time, he vows to be the father she deserves. He won't let history repeat. As 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 begins to explain her return, he stops her. He welcomes them warmly into his home. "Rest now, my little princess," he says with love. Sei's radiant smile lights up the room. Even 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 is shocked by his sudden change. The lazy man is gone. He's now a doting father, cleaning and playing with his daughter. Has he really changed? Usually, he'd be spitting insults and acting like a complete jerk. Sejun even suggests they get married. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 is frozen in shock by his proposal. He remembers the agony of losing her. He finally understands how precious she truly is. She claims she only came because she's desperate. "Don't get any ideas," she warns him coldly. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 plans to become a hunter to support Sei. She needs him to watch their child. Sejun's heart stops. That decision was exactly what caused her death in the past life. He won't stop her, but he'll make her invincible. He'll train her to survive this cruel world. 10 years ago, the world fell into chaos. Monsters emerged from rifts, bringing humanity to its knees. Humanity didn't perish. They absorbed the rift's energy, evolving to fight back against the darkness. They became hunters, and powerful guilds began to rise. Sejun knew their dirty secrets. In his past life, he saw their greed. They enslaved hunters with debt and empty promises. They lured them with gold, then shackled them. It was a life of endless, painful servitude. He spent his first life as a battlefield slave. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's fate was even more devastating. Her death was the catalyst for Sei's tragedy. He must break this cycle of misfortune forever. Suddenly, Sei pouts. "Papa, the ice cream is too small." Her cuteness is his new world. The clerk, charmed by her, makes a giant sundae. This is Sei's first gift from him. As they celebrate, the sirens scream. A dimensional rift has opened right in their path. This shouldn't be happening yet. His regression has triggered an early dangerous shift in time. The future is changing unpredictably. He grabs his daughter and races towards safety immediately. A massive bull monster emerges, locked onto Sejun. It ignores everyone else, hungry for blood. He hides Sei in an alleyway. In this life, he is no longer the weakling he was. The beast lunges, but Sejun dodges with expert precision. His combat instincts have finally awakened. He channels his energy into a simple broom. It's the only weapon he has to fight. He must hold out for 5 minutes. Anything to keep his precious daughter out of harm's way. He lacked mana before, but he has something better. He knows every monster's secret weakness. He hurls the broom with terrifying power. The shockwave of the impact ripples through the air. The monster howls in agony as the blow lands. Remarkably, its legs are frozen solid instantly. The beast goes berserk, shaking the nearby buildings. Sejun's only thought is for his daughter. He moves like a blur to protect her from falling debris. He shields her with his body. Badly wounded and losing blood, he loses consciousness. Thankfully, the rescue team arrives just in time. Hearing the news, 𝒭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 rushed to the hospital. Tears blurred her vision as she searched for her family. Seeing Sejun battered from protecting their daughter, her heart shattered. But Sejun stood tall immediately. He joked about being as strong as a bull. He'd turn monsters into stew before letting her worry. After Sei slept, he confronted 𝒭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍. Someone used high-tier ice magic during the chaos this morning. He suspected their daughter was the caster. 𝒭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's face darkened. She had been hiding this secret. She knew Sei's magic had awakened long ago. Their previous house collapse? That wasn't an accident. Sei had lost control of her surging power. If the world finds out, she'll become a lab rat. 𝒭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 asked if he ever doubted Sei was his blood. Sejun didn't hesitate for a second. She is my daughter, and I'll never say otherwise. My love for her is absolute and unchanging. 𝒂𝒐's radiant smile made his heart skip. As a 40-year-old soul in a young body, he felt flustered. He felt like a teenager around his 26-year-old wife. Meanwhile, they dealt with her guild's corrupt contract. Exposing their dirty clauses, 𝒂𝒐 quit the guild. Now, the powerhouse couple was technically unemployed. The next day, they visited a suspicious workshop. Don't let the crumbling exterior fool you. The owner was Kang Cheon, the legendary god of smithing from Seo-jun's past life memories. They bowed respectfully, and little Se mimicked them, greeting the white-haired uncle with adorable manners. Seo-jun chose a spear, his signature weapon. But 𝒂𝒐 was still unsure what to pick. He handed her a bow, sensing her hidden talent. However, the price tag was astronomical. 𝒂𝒐 worried about the cost, but Seo-jun just winked. He had a secret stash of gold. Even Se offered to sacrifice her snack money. Watching this family's bond, the blacksmith's heart softened. Moved by the child's cuteness, he gave them a massive discount, charging only for the materials. Training began in a secluded area. It was the perfect spot to unleash their hidden powers. He taught 𝒂𝒐 the basics of combat. They were gearing up for their first real dungeon raid. 𝒂𝒐's archery talent was terrifying. For a beginner, her accuracy was nothing short of divine. Se begged to learn mana control too. In an instant, she condensed energy in her tiny palm. She truly was a genius with an OP bloodline. To start their grind, Seo-jun called Grandpa. Grandpa initially refused to babysit, but once he saw 𝒂𝒐 and Se, his icy heart melted. Se's charms were irresistible. With the kid safe at Grandpa's, the couple prepared for battle. Seo-jun held a rare blue energy stone. It was a parting gift from the legendary blacksmith. The stone pulsed, sensing nearby mana. Suddenly, the crowd roared for a famous hunter named Su-hun. Su-hun was a top-tier celebrity hunter. He was more famous for his looks than his skills. Exactly at 2 p.m., the earth groaned. A massive shockwave tore through the shopping mall floor. A giant abyss opened up. A system window flashed. Dungeon initialized. Main quest: exterminate all monsters. Monsters crawled out of the darkness, hungry for blood. Panic erupted as the mall became a war zone. Seo-jun didn't hesitate. He leapt into the fray, his spear a blur of lethal precision. He cleared the path while that idle hunter used innocent civilians as human shields. Pathetic. Good looks don't equal a good heart. Just as a monster lunged at a survivor, a red-haired warrior named Zeon intervened. Seo-jun remembered her. She was a legendary survivor. The timeline had shifted, but her strength remained. Seo-jun immediately took command of the hunters. Under his expert leadership, they formed a defensive line. The tide of battle finally turned. Su-hun fumed with rage. He was the corrupt leader 𝒂𝒐 had rightfully rejected. Amidst the chaos, a child was poisoned by a spider monster. They were running out of time. To escape, the boss had to die. But Su-hun's cowardice held him back from fighting. Only Zeon agreed to join the couple. Su-hun started hurling insults to mask his fear. Zeon shut him down instantly. She told the fake star to rot in his own ego. The trio headed toward the boss room. Zeon was stunned by the couple's calm demeanor. The pro hunters were stunned. These rookies were far from ordinary, especially Liun's seasoned combat skills. He displayed expert battle sense and brilliant leadership. Suddenly, the main character signaled a total halt. The dungeon boss emerged. A revolting, massive slime that left the girls completely horrified. Zeon charged forward effortlessly. Meanwhile, the couple rappelled down, but a disaster was looming. 𝒂𝒐's rope slipped. The vibration jolted the slime awake. Zeon screamed for them to dodge. The cute slime transformed into a nightmare. It lunged at them with savage, murderous intent. Just as warned, it sensed motion over sight. They immediately launched their tactical counterplan. Liun and Zeon would shred the membrane. 𝒂𝒐 provided backup fire in case of emergencies. Zeon acted as bait, creating noise. She was confident in her insane speed and stamina. But running wasn't enough. Zeon unleashed her ultimate secret technique: absolute partition. Golden energy flared around her body. She delivered a barrage of lightning-fast, lethal strikes. She nearly cleaved it in two. Yet it regenerated instantly, even melting her blade. Danger closed in. Just then, Liun shattered oil flasks across the monster's body. The oil dissolved the defense. Now, the boss was absolutely livid and went berserk. It launched a massive attack at Zeon. Their current weapons stood no chance of blocking. Suddenly, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 fired a flaming arrow. The core was exposed, and they charged together. With the girl's support, Liyun shattered the energy core. The monster finally collapsed. Boom! A massive shockwave erupted. They won. Grandfather arrived at the mall shortly after. 𝒊𝒂𝒍 spotted her parents in the crowd. The family shared a tearful, happy reunion. Later, the father spoke seriously. Hunter life was lucrative, but paved with constant danger. Their lives hung by a thread daily. However, seeing their bravery on news changed him. He agreed to care for 𝒊𝒂𝒍. Then, he spoke privately with his daughter-in-law. He acknowledged her painful past. Raising a child alone without parents was true suffering. She had worked countless jobs to survive. But things were getting far more complicated. She had work. As 𝒊𝒂𝒍 grew, her dormant magic was becoming far too powerful for her to handle. She couldn't protect the child alone anymore. He urged her to lean on the family. Next day, their balance was pathetic. Only 320,000 won remained. If they didn't find a way to make money fast, they'd be starving soon. Suddenly, a notification. 1 million won was deposited. Roughly 18 million Vietnamese dong. They were stunned until Xian called. She had processed the loot from their raid. Since they weren't official, the guild handled the sale of the monster parts. This included extracting the core and materials. With a license, they'd earn much more. Having a license would mean earning double. Fortunately, the exam was starting soon. They celebrated their victory by taking their daughter on a massive shopping spree first. Exam day arrived. In his past life, he aced theory, but lacked the physical power. Seeing his wife's anxiety, he proposed a bet on who could get the higher score. The winner gets one wish. This competitive spark immediately restored her fighting spirit. They both breezed through the written portion and advanced to the second stage easily. Next was the practical exam. They faced artificial monsters mimicking real dungeon threats. Candidates had to hunt the targets within the time limit while remaining completely unharmed. Proctors monitored every tactical move and technique from a high-tech observation room. This was a crucial chance for the supervisors to evaluate their true combat potential. Many contestants were crushed instantly, leaving the board of judges feeling utterly unimpressed. Suddenly, the Saint of Swords appeared. He was the legendary hero who saved all humanity. The commander of the 𝒁𝒐𝒔𝒔 sword camp had arrived with his mythical combat skills. As Jean's power surged unexpectedly, the young child mistook the old man for Santa Claus. The innocent question broke the tension, sending the entire group into fits of laughter. After his wife dominated her trial, the stage was finally set for 𝒊𝒂𝒍. He stood motionless before the beast. The crowd wondered, was he frozen in fear? Only the sword saint saw the truth. He was dissecting the monster's every move. Armed with memories of past lives, he dodged effortlessly and struck the killing blow. With a single thrust, he claimed the core. The exam ended in a heartbeat. Stunned silence followed. Is he a hacker? Even the sword saint was left speechless. To celebrate their victory, Jean invited the legendary duo to a lavish, royal feast. She eyed their weapons with wonder. Where did you find such divine, high-tier steel? 𝒊𝒂𝒍 smirked. Eat up and grow stronger first, kid. I'll tell you later. Back home, his wife's ice-cold soda prank nearly gave 𝒊𝒂𝒍 a heart attack. She teased him about other girls. Her intuition was sharper than a master's blade. He explained it was just Jean asking about their gear. She's just curious, dear. 𝒊𝒂𝒍 worried about fate changing, yet Jean felt different in this new timeline. In his past lives, she was a nightmare. Now, she radiated only pure kindness. Just as 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 said, she was a good person, with no hidden, dark malice. This girl was a far cry from the terrifying final boss he once faced. They focused on the next exam, gathering crucial intel to ensure an absolute victory. His wife handed him the research. Consider this a bribe for my hard-working hero. She was unusually sweet today. Perhaps the celebratory drinks had finally hit her hard. Tell me after we win, he laughed, his eyes fixed on the path ahead. With his regressor skills, this upcoming trial would be nothing but a mere warm-up. Yet, facing events he'd never seen before, even a legend felt a spark. At Mount Wannan, the candidates gathered, the air thick with tension and hidden ambition. The mission: conquer a newbie dungeon alongside 2 randomly assigned rookie squad mates. Success depended on synergy. Their final scores were tied to their cooperation and contribution. Only those who dominated the battlefield would earn the right to claim the spoils. 𝒊𝒂𝒍 was paired with 2 strangers, Mansu and Daeho, a truly unpredictable team. 3 hours, standard gear, 1 weapon. The clock was ticking toward their first raid. During the strategy session, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 already knew exactly how they would survive. Having lived through countless cycles, their hidden stats were an open book to him. He assigned their roles instantly. "How does he know our secrets?" they gasped. They descended into the abyss, positions set and weapons ready for the coming slaughter. Mansu took the rear, Daeho led, while 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 commanded the entire battlefield flow. The darkness was suffocating. Most rookies were too terrified to take a single step. Seeing Mansu's gaudy jewelry, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 warned, "Gold only invites a quick, painful death." When the brat ignored him, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 delivered a kick that sent him sprawling. Remove the trash or leave the team. His commander's aura was cold and absolute. Terrified, Mansu stripped his gold. The real descent into the dungeon finally began. The cave was eerily silent. Even the monster's favorite food remained completely untouched. Was this a secret supervisor trap? An anomaly that defied his vast regressor memories? They discovered a massive pit, a variable that had never existed in previous timelines. "Mansu fell! Don't move!" 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 roared as a sinister aura surged from below. A monstrous force began dragging him down. The dungeon's true nightmare had awakened. A monstrous cannibal ant. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 instantly recognizes this predator dragging its victim into the dark abyss. No choice but to dive in. As they leap, the proctor screams, "That's not a testing zone. Damn it." 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 thought those unexpected exam disasters were just rumors to scare the weak newbies. Fate has a cruel sense of humor. The proctor's terrified face confirms it. Is this the butterfly effect? He considers a total timeline regression. But a desperate scream echoes through the cave. It's little Mansu. Daeho charges forward, but 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 halts him. These ants hoard prey alive. The boy is safe for now. Is this even a test anymore? Survival is the only priority, as they realize the exit is completely buried. How do we escape? 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 is sweating internally. They've stumbled into an uncharted, high-rank hidden dungeon. Yet, a spark of greed ignites. To escape, they must conquer the boss and claim the legendary first clear. His true target, the divine elixir. Only the first conqueror of a hidden dungeon receives this ultimate prize. Dungeons grant many treasures upon defeat. But the elixir is a miracle that rewrites a hunter's potential. Every high ranker would kill for this power. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 steels his resolve. It's time to save the brat. "We're going in," he declares. Because a true hunter never leaves a comrade behind, no matter the cost. Daeho is moved to tears. With weapons drawn, they assume their stances and charge into the hive. They smash through the swarming horde. These are zombie ants, nightmarish creatures that rise even after death. Their coordination is perfect. Like a dance of death, they annihilate the swarm in a flurry of strikes. They venture deeper into the mossy depths. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 senses a massive presence. The boss room is near. Mansu is trapped inside. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 hopes this near-death experience finally teaches the arrogant kid some humility. They reach the heart of the nest. Suddenly, the gargantuan queen ant lunges with bone-crushing force. Daeho ignites his energy shield. The queen's mandibles spark against his aura, but his defense holds firm. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 grits his teeth. He's still too weak. At his full power, this bug would be dust by now. He analyzes the monster's rhythm. Having fought thousands of battles, he knows every weakness by heart. He lunges with lethal precision. A spear thrust pierces the queen's eye, forcing the beast to retreat outside. "It's still standing. Focus on the core," 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 shouts, igniting Daeho's fading courage for one final push. Daeho is terrified but determined. Pushed by 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's aura, he tackles the queen in a desperate grapple. He heaves the monster skyward. Its soft underbelly is exposed, completely unprotected by its legendary chitinous armor. "Now, die." 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's blade flashes like lightning, cleaving the hideous queen ant in a single strike. System: first clear achieved. Special mission complete. The legendary hidden reward has been granted to you. Victory is theirs. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 beams with joy, thanking Daeho as they secure the miracle elixir. Back at headquarters, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 and yu-hei are honored. They've officially earned their hunter licenses today. With license in hand, the path is clear. Time to grind and rewrite this world's tragic future. But this is only the beginning. Suddenly, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's magic watch flares with an ominous, brilliant light. A lollipop floats out of Yuhei's pocket. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 freezes. He recognizes that overwhelming mana signature anywhere. It's his daughter's awakening. She's already manifesting magic at this age? She's a natural-born final boss. Yu-hei is in total shock. Seo-jun realizes the magic is subconscious, fueled by the baby's raw, unstable emotions. Her power fluctuates with her mood. If she gets upset, she could accidentally level the entire city block. Yu-hei trembles, looking at their innocent baby. Their little bundle of joy is a walking nuclear disaster. If she keeps growing this fast, she'll lose control. If left alone, she might become the world's greatest threat. Seo-jun slams the table in frustration. The timeline is collapsing. The final boss is awakening way too early. The mana density in the city is too thin. That's why her magic is reacting so violently and sensitively. He must take her to a high mana zone. It sounds insane, but the infant must enter a real dungeon. Take a baby into a death zone? Only a battlefield can provide enough mana to stabilize her core. Yu-hei screams in disbelief. Bringing a toddler into a dungeon is a suicide mission for any parent. Seo-jun hates this more than anyone. But to save the future, his daughter must face the danger now. Yu-hei's heart breaks, but she agrees. Protect our daughter, she whispers as the true war begins. They vowed to protect their child, but private dungeons rarely permit a 5-year-old inside. Utilizing his secret connections, Seo-jun called a relative and headed out the next morning. A beautiful girl named Joan welcomed them warmly, nearly hugging Seo-jun by mistake. The duo was led to a mountain retreat, where Seo-jun marveled at the scenery. Despite the ancient exterior, the room was packed with high-tech gear and modern luxuries. They asked Joan to help suppress their daughter's unstable, explosive mana before disaster struck. However, John was too busy playing mobile games to even notice his desperate plea. Dimensional cracks come in 3 forms: temporary, corrosive dungeons, and the dreaded eternal cracks. Eternal cracks never vanish, spawning endless monsters and turning the area into a permanent battlefield. Seo-jun wanted access to the battlefield, but John worried about their rookie status. They had just received their licenses yesterday. A single mistake meant certain death for everyone. Jean told them to wait while she consulted the sect leader about this risky request. Suddenly, a man entered, treating Seo-jun like a mere novice and demanding a talk. This man was a famous hunter, a high-ranking celebrity respected by every aspiring warrior. Seo-jun wanted him gone, but since he wasn't the owner, he had to endure. The stranger came to claim rewards for a raid Seo-jun and Dae-ho finished. This arrogant fraud was stealing credit for a kill he didn't even participate in. As the night leader, he threatened Seo-jun, claiming that his enemies never ended well. He looked down on rookies without fame, but Seo-jun wasn't one to be intimidated. Those who don't work shouldn't eat, Seo-jun mocked, provoking Shu-hun into a rage. Seo-jun calmly waited for the fool to strike, then countered with lightning-fast precision. Shu-hun panicked. How could a rookie licensed only yesterday possess such overwhelming power? Seo-jun mocked the veteran's pathetic skills before easily blowing him back with his spear. Just as he prepared the finishing blow, Seo-jun suddenly collapsed from a dizzying headache. Shu-hun saw his chance to silence the witness and protect his fraudulent reputation forever. He swung his blade to execute Seo-jun, but the sect leader arrived just in time. Disgusted by such cowardice, the sect leader glared and banished the villain from his sight. The disciples rushed out to check on Seo-jun, relieved that he was still breathing. The sect leader advised proper rest to balance his energy before walking away in silence. He agreed to the battlefield request, but the exact timing remained a mystery for now. After 2 days of recovery and care, Seo-jun felt his legendary strength returning fully. The couple spent the day hunting monsters in the forest until the sun began to set. They found Joan exhausted because Seo was using high-level magic on her teddy bears. This was exactly why they needed to seal her mana before it spiraled out of control. Seo-jun asked about the Magic Tower, an elite organization of rare and powerful mages. In his past life, these mages were greedy shadows who exploited their immense influence. He sought to stabilize Seo's energy specifically to hide her from their relentless pursuit. Realizing the danger, John understood why they were so desperate to enter the battlefield. Worried the couple would die alone, she offered to join and support their dangerous mission. Seo-jun accepted immediately. Having an extra expert on the team was a massive advantage. Suddenly, an emergency siren blared, ordering everyone to evacuate the dungeon before it sealed. It was too late. The gate vanished, and a hidden boss quest instantly activated. A massive mountain golem emerged, attacking the group with earth-shattering force without warning. The beast was made of reinforced stone, protecting its core from any standard physical attacks. Half-hearted strikes would only provoke it. They needed a devastating blow to shatter its defenses. To take down this behemoth, we must strike its core, usually hidden within the head or neck. Sei's overwhelming mana lures the beast. Seeing his child in peril, Seo lunges at the creature's head. Xian joins the fray, her blade dancing in a merciless symphony of steel against the monster's hide. Why wait for death to use an ultimate? Xian unleashes her strongest strike, shattering the beast instantly. The monster crumbles, but Sejun remains tense. He's fought this nightmare 1,000 times before. Just as expected, the shattered stones pulse with dark magic, reconstructing the golem in an instant. A devastating blow looms, but suddenly, the air freezes. A massive ice bear shackles the monster. It's Sei's power, but her unrefined mana falters, and the golem easily smashes through the frost. Despair sinks in as the behemoth prepares to crush them all. Is this the end for them? Sudden reversal. The ice bear regenerates, delivering a savage counterstrike that rattles the mountain boss. These two warriors can only watch in awe. After 500 rounds, the boss finally falls. The system is rigged. Despite Sei doing the work, it credits Sejun with the kill. They retreat home, finding little Sei already deep in a peaceful slumber after that chaotic battle. Constructing an entity of ice drained her completely. She remains asleep, unaware of her own miracle. This isn't just summoning. She created a reality. If she did this inside, the house would vanish. Summoning calls a beast. Creation breathes life. Sei's talent is on a completely different dimension. Creating something from nothing is god-tier magic. Without a doubt, my daughter is the world's strongest. While playing with her, Xian calls with a warning. A mage from the tower is approaching. Seo Jun's blood runs cold. This man is the catalyst for Sei's tragedy in the past life. A unique quest triggers. Change the future. Prevent the 5 tragedies that will destroy little Sei. Mission 1. Protect Sei's identity from William Taylor. The stakes have never been higher for him. He masks his dread, claiming it's just a fool investigating soldiers for the upcoming war. Preparation is key. When the investigation begins, Seo Jun maintains a perfect, unsuspecting facade. Taylor claims the association demands cooperation, but his eyes search for something more than just records. William Taylor, a high-ranking manager from Seo Jun's past life, a man of immense talent and cruelty. Whatever his current rank, he remains a deadly viper. The investigation feels like walking through a minefield. They pass the license exam with flying colors. It seems the immediate danger has passed for now. Just as they prepare to kick him out, Taylor pulls out a photograph of the ice bear. The shattered fragments of Sei's creation are melting, leaving behind traces of impossible, high-tier magic. I have no idea who made that, Seo Jun lies. Admitting the truth means losing her forever. Taylor departs, and the couple exhales. Sei smiles, completely unaware of the shadow hanging over her. But the system doesn't ping success. The quest remains active. Seo Jun's heart sinks with realization. The first tragedy isn't averted. Taylor is suspicious, and a predator never stops hunting its prey. If Taylor discovers Sei's true potential, Seo Jun knows he's currently too weak to stop him. Sei's enemies aren't just mages, the entire world might hunt her. The power gap is simply staggering. Being slightly better isn't enough. To protect his daughter, Seo Jun must become a true monster. No more being cautious. He needs every weapon, every ally, and every cheat available to him. Phase 1. Find a powerful ally. A week later, he spots a girl cornered by thugs. She's about to meet a grim end when Seo Jun intervenes, shattering a thug's bones instantly. The leader draws a blade, but Seo Jun floors him. He rushes the injured girl to safety. She digs up his info online, leaving Seo Jun stunned. So much for keeping a low profile. She's an heiress. She offers him a blank check, but our hero has a bigger prize. I don't want your money, he declares. I want access to an unconquered, high-rank dungeon, a dangerous lair filled with monsters. This is where Seo Jun's true ascension begins. Rejecting the rewards, he makes one impossible request: to enter the Tiger's Den, a legendary, unconquered dungeon where nightmare monsters rule supreme. A new anomaly appeared. The expedition was set, but every hunter sent met a gruesome end. With the guild leader bedridden, Seo Jun stepped up. He accepted the perilous quest, without a second thought. She was skeptical, but he didn't care. Returning home, his precious daughter greeted him with open arms. The warmth of family felt divine. Who needs dungeons when you have a loving wife and an adorable child? But then, his wife sniffed for any foreign scents. Her murderous aura flared, making Seo-jun's blood run cold. She spared him this time. The next dawn, Seo-jun geared up for the Tiger's Den dungeon. As he entered the abyss, the system chimed. You have entered an unconquered zone. Special quest activated. The Tiger's Den was infamous for its absolute, soul-crushing darkness. Not even light magic could pierce it. Visibility was 0. But Seo-jun held a hidden trump card that no one expected. He pulled out the Night Snowflower, a legendary elixir capable of granting perfect nocturnal vision. With his sight restored, a horde of monsters suddenly lunged from the shadows with bared fangs. Unfazed, Seo-jun unleashed his spear. He carved through them like a hot knife through butter. These beasts had slaughtered countless high rankers. Yet to him, they were merely a mindless, overwhelming swarm. They were endless. Wave after wave crashed against him, more numerous than ants in a colony. If he didn't find the source soon, even his limitless stamina would surely run dry. Suddenly, the mobs retreated. A desperate scream echoed from behind a heavy door. Was someone trapped? He burst inside, only to face a gargantuan, hideous predator waiting, with a gaping maw. A boss encounter. 5 minutes in? Talk about terrible luck. The monster's jaws snapped shut near his head. He struck back, and the beast shrieked with a chillingly human-like voice. This was no ordinary monster. It was a mimic, a creature that steals the voices of its victims to lure in its next meal. No wonder records were so scarce. No one who met this demon lived to tell the tale. Seo-jun charged with explosive fury, but the mimic shrugged off his attacks like they were nothing. Then, the demon cast a vile illusion, manifesting his daughter to shatter his resolve. But his love was his shield. Overcoming the manipulation, he activated his lightning armor and surged forward. With one divine thrust, he obliterated the demon. It didn't even have time to scream before disintegrating. Even in death, it projected his daughter's image. But Seo-jun's mind was like a fortress of cold steel. He finished it without hesitation. The boss was dead. Then, a mysterious figure stepped out from the light. A shimmering ethereal girl praised his victory. Seo-jun recoiled, wondering if this was another monster. It was the system interface itself, she announced him, as the first person to slay the mimic. After her announcement, she vanished into pixels. Seo-jun finally exhaled and headed back to his sanctuary. Home sweet home. His daughter was the first to greet him, just like every other day. His wife watched, with a playful pout. He held his child close, hiding a dark, heavy secret. In a past life, she was the final boss, who killed him repeatedly. Now, he'd save her, with fatherly love. The next morning, he delivered the loot to the requester. All he found was a single, unassuming ring. She was insulted by the low-tier reward. "Keep it," she barked. Little did she know its true hidden power. Back home, his wife appeared, behind him like a ghost. He jumped, fearing the sleeping outside. Penalty again. He quickly offered a gift box, a set of customized magical armor, identical to his own. She expected flowers, not battle gear. But Seo-jun had a very romantic explanation ready. "I want you safe on our missions," he whispered. Touched, her eyes sparkled with pure joy. With her in high spirits, he proposed a dual raid contract for a local mini-dungeon they headed to soon. Usually, this raid requires 10 hunters, but they were a league of their own. To be safe, they joined a party. "Since we're strangers, let's introduce ourselves," the leader suggested. "Go Hyan, 22, swordsman. I'm Unhai, 27. I handle the bow. Kang Dae-hyun, 29, brawler. Ha Iram here, 29. I'm an all-rounder." This team looked more like a dinner group than an elite unit. But looks can be deceiving. Fame awaits in the shadows. Welcome to the Forgotten Tomb. Undead hordes swarm. No time for breaks or hot pot. Perfect rhythmic strikes. The system begins absorbing souls. Seo-jun fights on, wondering what these souls unlock. While others use blades, Ha-iram brings out guns. Enemy firepower is overwhelming. Seo-jun orders a retreat. Dae-ho clears a path. The team regroups quickly. Ha-iram buffs her bullets, shredding monsters like tofu. Buffing bullets? Everyone is shocked by her unique power. Seo-jun explains. She uses rare, expensive dungeon metal. For her rich family, it's nothing. Seo-jun remains wary. This ring is a mystery. Why absorb souls without instructions? After a short rest, they plunge deeper into darkness. Tougher monsters appear, but the team crushes them all. The final boss door. Seo-jun enters without hesitation. Just an empty coffin? Suddenly, lethal spikes erupt everywhere. A massive titan emerges. It lunges straight for Jon. Ha-iram fires, but the beast's armor is unbreakable. Vital points are useless. Swords and arrows simply bounce. Dae-ho's tackle fails. The monster doesn't even budge. The head. Seo-jun spots the weakness and swaps weapons. He bets everything on one final, mana-infused arrow. Too weak. The beast grabs him like a pup. The ring distracts it. Hai-nan lands the killing shot. Success. The Guardian of the Forgotten has finally fallen. The ring devours 50 souls. Total count, 87. Stronger foes yield more souls. But the mission continues. No completion screen? The real boss is still lurking. If that wasn't the boss, they're in deep trouble. As they turn to flee, the ancient coffin trembles. A legendary warrior awakens. Even the regressor is stunned. In all his lives, Seo-jun never saw this open. The boss strikes. It wants the heirloom ring back. Everyone wants this ring. The boss targets Seo-jun. No chance. Seo-jun prepares for a desperate struggle. Overwhelming aura. This might be their final resting place. Faced with divine power, Seo-jun can only defend. The boss is flawless. Seo-jun reaches his limit. One mistake means death. Why is no one helping? He thinks of his daughter. He must survive for her. System alert. Consume souls to activate combat mode. Pushed back. Seo-jun releases all 87 souls. Temporary stats surge. A legendary power-up has begun. The tables turn. Seo-jun attacks with relentless fury. The boss screams. Seo-jun's divine vision finds victory. A heart beating after thousands of years? Impossible. Seo-jun lunges, aiming for the core. But ancient armor shields the organ. In a final gamble, he ignites his remaining mana. The barrier shatters. The beast falls as the system echoes the sound of victory. System. Boss of the Forgotten Tomb. Defeated. You are the first to conquer this grave. His buffs expire, and exhaustion hits like a tidal wave. Seo-jun collapses instantly. The Emperor's ring hungrily consumes 100 souls. Then, a chilling red alert appears. The ring has devoured a piece of his humanity. Is he turning into a monster? Home feels distant. Seeing his family's joy, he regrets choosing this path of blood. A normal life seems like a dream now. The void inside him starts to grow. He tries to smile, but his face remains a mask. This is the price of power. Will he forget how to love his own family? The fear of losing himself lingers. But as he holds his daughter, a miracle occurs. His frozen heart begins to melt. System. Humanity restored. His daughter is his anchor, his most precious treasure in existence. The next morning, he examines amnesia. It grants massive power but erases a year's memories. A legendary reward, yet a cursed one. To gain strength, he must lose his past. Forget his debts? Tempting. But he can't risk losing the memories of his loved ones. His wife, Yuhai, interrupts his thoughts. She suggests a vacation to clear their heads. A healing trip sounds perfect. But they can't leave their precious CA behind. Family trip it is. But heavy rain ruins the morning. Until CA steps forward. With a tiny finger pointed skyward, she banishes the storm. A sun god in a child's body. Seo-jun is speechless. With such overwhelming power, who would ever dare marry her? But Taylor is still lurking. They need a perfect alibi to protect their daughter. The wealthy hunter takes his wife to the zoo? His commoner taste is truly hopeless. They laugh and take photos. Seo-jun plays the fool just to see them smile. Amidst the animals and laughter, they find a rare moment of absolute family peace. They return home happy and full, only to find Taylor waiting at their doorstep. The atmosphere freezes. Taylor mentions the miraculous weather change from earlier that day. Only a supreme mage could manipulate mana like that. It was no natural event. If the child is responsible, the truth is terrifying. Suspicion quickly turns into a threat. He demands to inspect CA. He won't settle for mere guesses or excuses anymore. As Taylor reaches for the sleeping girl, Seo-jun blocks his path. "Don't touch her!" Yoo-hee tries to intervene, but magic binds her. Taylor's hand finally makes contact. Horror! Taylor witnesses a vision of the apocalypse and recoils in pure, primal terror. "She must be destroyed," he screams. "This child will bring the world's end." A father's love versus the world? Seo-jun doesn't care about the world's survival. If his daughter dies, everything dies. He stands defiantly against the master mage. Taylor threatens her life. Surrender her to the Magic Association, or she dies now. Seo-jun knows the truth from his regressions. Handing her over is the real mistake. That would trigger the very catastrophe Taylor fears. Suddenly, Yoo-hee finds an opening. Asterisk, clang. Asterisk, a legendary frying pan strike. They seize the moment and make a run. Seo-jun grabs his spear. A trainee versus a master mage? The odds are impossible. He regrets not fleeing the country sooner. Now, it's a desperate fight for survival. Against a mage, distance is death. He must close the gap before it's too late. One wrong move means total annihilation. He has to strike with everything he has. He grips his spear, channeling every ounce of mana. The real battle begins now. Seo-jun mocked Taylor, but seconds later, he was bound by crushing magic chains. Trapped! If only his ally Dae-ho were here with his raw, monstrous physical power. He collapsed in frustration. Then, his eyes fell upon a mysterious, glowing magic ring. A system prompt appeared. Choose the number of souls to consume. 100 available. Using them meant losing his humanity. But what is a soul without his family? He absorbed all 100 souls. Primal power surged, evolving his body in an instant. Taylor froze in terror as the chains shattered. The hunter had become the prey. Without hesitation, Seo-jun unleashed a devastating punch, sending Taylor through solid stone walls. To avoid prison, he chose a fate worse than death, forcing an amnesia stone down Taylor's throat. Morning came. They sat like old friends. Taylor remembered nothing of the brutal beatdown. To cover his tracks, Seo-jun spent hours crafting fake memories for the confused man. He lied, claiming Taylor had severe food poisoning and memory loss from street food. Taylor actually believed it. He thanked Seo-jun and prepared to leave for good. Seo-jun even gave him snacks. The villain left, crying tears of gratitude for his kindness. System alert. Leo's first misfortune averted. A new, unique quest has been assigned. Absorbing Leo's memories, Seo-jun saw her past agony and wept for his daughter. The mission evolved. 5 great misfortunes must be stopped to change her dark future. 1 out of 5 completed. The road ahead was long, and the stakes were legendary. He remembered the past. The next tragedy would likely target his beloved wife, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍. If he failed, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 would die again. He had to rewrite her fate at all costs. The cause of her death was a mystery. He needed to become overwhelmingly strong now. He approached the wealthy hive for funding. She agreed, but only if she joined. He worried about his wife's jealousy, but her offer of rare dungeons was too good. She promised access to secret ruins and full insurance. This was his ultimate golden ticket. He agreed instantly. The path to immense wealth and power was finally opening up. Her father, the chairman, had forbidden her from adventuring, but her passion burned bright. Being the daughter of 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's chairman was risky, but she promised to handle the consequences. They needed a 5-man squad. Seo-jun already had 3 perfect candidates in mind. 1 week later, the team was registered. Everything was going according to his grand plan. Suddenly, a powerful figure appeared. It was Chairman Ha Dong-soo of the 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 Empire. The chairman demanded Seo-jun remove 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 from the team. The pressure was suffocating. He offered massive rewards for compliance. Seo-jun's resolve wavered for just a single moment. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 was talented, but she couldn't stand against the might of her father's global corporation. The benefits were tempting, but Seo-jun looked beyond the immediate gold and glory. He realized 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's true worth. Plus, winning her over meant owning the whole corporation. The chairman burst into laughter. He liked Seo-jun's audacity and gave them his blessing. "Don't hold her back," he said. He even wished Seo-jun luck in winning her heart. After the meeting, Seo-jun shared the news with 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍. Their bond deepened instantly. Success was within reach. He was building an army and a legacy at once. He discovered a hidden training dungeon in Greece and demanded entry from the terrified owner. The owner was shocked. How did this outsider find such a well-kept, ancient secret? Caught in 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 web, the owner reluctantly agreed. The expedition to Greece was on. Iram was annoyed by his secrecy, but she followed him to the airport regardless. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 explained the true threat. A dark cult was influencing the powerful Knights' Order. Though not a massive guild, their hidden, sinister strength was terrifying and absolute. Utilizing ties with the Greek government, the Knight Guild conceals a secret dungeon in Athens. This dungeon possesses a unique mechanic. Hunters gain massive experience just by entering. Consequently, the Knight's power skyrockets simply by repeatedly entering and exiting the portal. Sophia Lambu aims to exploit this shortcut for her team's rapid growth. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 agrees. Iram is stunned. He knows this top-secret info. A regressor's knowledge is truly unfair. He hadn't planned to move so soon, but to protect his beloved 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 must attain absolute power instantly. He needs the entire group to grow. The team happily agrees to a Greek vacation. Iram immediately books the flight tickets. Hours later, they arrive in Greece, laughing and enjoying the beautiful, vibrant atmosphere. They meet a man holding a strange sign sent by 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 to fetch them. The driver mocks them, thinking his guild leader has finally gone senile in old age. The girls admire the scenery, but the driver warns them about the Mediterranean heat. Step outside the AC, and you'll be roasted meat. They decide to stay inside. After a meal, they reach the Sword Guild's headquarters, a breathtaking, luxurious castle. Its opulence leaves everyone speechless. The team is then led to their private quarters. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 meets the guild leader. Suddenly, she presses a cold blade to his throat. Unfazed by her threat, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 reveals the secret to breaking her ancient curse. Either transfer the curse or kill the source. She scoffs, calling his team weak. She claims dungeon growth requires immense luck. It isn't as easy as he thinks. Even with luck, she deems him too green. Knights train years for the tower. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 is a fresh hunter. Entering now would be a total suicide mission. To prove his worth, he must defeat her strongest disciple in a high-stakes duel. With no choice left, he accepts, ready to reveal his hidden, regressed combat power. His opponent is the arrogant driver from earlier. The duel begins with lethal intent. Sword versus spear. They clash, their moves blurring into a deadly, rhythmic dance. Flashy strikes miss their mark, but the disciple feels a chill. This newbie is terrifying. Fear creeps in. Alexis realizes he cannot underestimate this mysterious boy any longer. He pours mana into his blade until it glows crimson, launching a desperate, final strike. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 drops his spear, catches Alexis by the throat, and slams him down. The guild leader is shocked. Her elite disciple was defeated by a mere novice. Years of experience meant nothing against 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's overwhelming, instinctual battle prowess. Impressed, she allows him into the dungeon. The next morning, the team gathers. Many others join. The tutorial tower requires 12 hunters to unlock its gates. Alexis leads them to the portal. As the clock strikes 6, the system awakens. The guide tower opens. 12 hunters are selected to face the ultimate trial. Selection complete. Those chosen are granted the Alpha Tester title before the apocalypse. As cracks in reality widen, monsters grow stronger while the number of hunters dwindles. Just as despair peaks, a divine voice suddenly echoes from the heavens above. The personal system appears, reversing humanity's fate in a single, blinding flash. It grants ranks and skills, amplifying the hidden potential of masterclass hunters everywhere. Higher ranks mean godlike power. The system begins updating 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's personal status. Error. A pre-existing system is detected. Data overwrite in progress. Loading. Complete. System updated. Suddenly, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 is warped into an uncleared, high-security prison dungeon. A system glitch? He can't regress now. He's trapped in the world's hardest trial. Looking up, he realizes he's fallen into the deadliest route of the 12 paths. Trapped within the tutorial tower, the dungeon layout shifts randomly. The system scatters players, forcing them into isolation. Everyone must conquer the first trial alone. Though difficult for rookies, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 trusts his allies' survival instincts. They've already unlocked unique ranks and skills via the personal system. In this cruel world, preparation is survival. His own class remains unchanged from his previous regressions. Spearman, a common title that speaks for itself. A rank represents one's path, but it also dictates a hunter's ultimate ceiling. It is a destiny carved in stone. Common ranks eventually hit a wall where growth grinds to a halt. That was his curse in the past. Before his regression, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 was the weakest among the survivors. a bottom feeder struggling in a world of monsters. If history repeats, everyone will receive their former ranks. But a massive problem looms over his heart. In the previous timeline, his daughter became a witch. Now, he'll do anything to protect his precious girl's future. The tower offers a one-time class change reward. This mission is his only shot. Failure is not an option. He dreams of her growing up normally, far from the blood-soaked path of a wandering, soul-hungry witch. While scavenging, he accidentally triggers a dormant suit of living armor. It wakes up craving a brutal fight. With a single flash of his spear, he pierces its helm. Suddenly, a massive horde emerges from the shadows. Numbers mean nothing to a man who has died 1,000 times. One sweep of his spear clears the room. Even a low-tier spear feels godlike now. He can only imagine the carnage once he acquires legendary-grade gear. He unlocks the first-floor boss room. A massive warden charges, swinging a colossal shield with murderous intent. A frontal assault is suicide. Seo-jun tries to flank the beast, but gets slammed into near oblivion instead. Near death, he dances on the edge of a blade. He strikes a gap, but the armor is too thick. Desperate, he consults the system for a solution. Only one word appears in the interface: thrust. It's a basic mana-consuming skill meant to amplify piercing power. For Seo-jun, it's his final gamble. He pours every drop of mana into the tip and launches his spear. The air screams as it flies. The shield shatters like cheap glass. The spear tears through the boss's chest like a hot knife through butter. System: the dungeon warden is slain. 500 points rewarded. The Ring of the Lord begins absorbing souls. Souls are ranked into 6 tiers, each providing a massive surge in raw power. His skills are evolving rapidly. Thrust may look simple, but its mastery potential is limitless. Repetition is the key to true transcendence. Years of combat experience have refined his movements. When a simple skill is pushed to the limit, it becomes lethal. Deep understanding allows him to dominate anyone using the same technique. He is a master of the basics. If a skill reaches the pinnacle, it surpasses all other high-tier abilities. This is the path of the overpowered. The exertion of the final blow knocks him unconscious. Luckily, no monsters emerge to claim his life while he sleeps. He later realizes he executed an ultimate thrust. The sheer power of that single strike was truly transcendent. Mastery levels can hide secret tiers beyond the system's standard rating. Only those who push past limits find them. In his past, transcendent hunters were rarer than gold. Now, he stands at the threshold of that legendary power. Regression improved his physical vessel, even if his mastery reset. He must climb to the 2nd floor now. As the gates open, the scenery warps. The cold, damp dungeon is replaced by a lush, ancient jungle. Deep in the forest, a mysterious well appears. After a quick rest, Seo-jun pushes toward floor 3. The path ahead is shrouded in mystery. Without a map, he relies purely on his sharpened survival instincts. The further he goes, the more twisted the trees become. Even our protagonist feels the weight of the gloom. Hunger and fatigue begin to set in as night falls. He spots a campfire and approaches for food. It's a trap. A treant monster lashes out, sending hundreds of deadly vines to ensnare the intruder. Seo-jun isn't impressed. With a casual flick of his spear, he shreds the vines into useless splinters. The treant is surprisingly agile for its size, dodging his strikes with unnatural grace. This isn't a normal mob. The monster demands the ring. It seems his legendary artifact is famous even among the forest's demonic denizens. Bound by vines and facing a lethal blow, Seo-jun fears another regression. Suddenly, a familiar figure intervenes. Daeho bursts from the brush, shattering the monster with a single earth-shaking punch. The timing is perfect. With his ally by his side, the tide turns. Seo-jun charges forward, ready to turn this tree into tinder. Seo-jun spots the fatal flaw. Strike now, Daeho. A simple punch, yet lethal. The impact is molten. A single strike shatters the beast's ironclad defense instantly. System: Boss Gardener slain. Rewards: 300 points. But Daeho collapses, completely spent. Hunger is the ultimate debuff. Seo-jun realizes they've forgotten the most vital supply: food. Survival mode activated. He picks wild mushrooms, a risky gamble between life and certain poisoning. They share war stories. Daeho's trial? A literal sewer crawl against a mountain-sized cat. One meow and the beast fled. Pure luck. Soon, a massive wall blocks their path. Meanwhile, Zeon is fading. Low mana and starvation have stripped her of all combat prowess. Cornered by a horde, she falls. Just as the end nears, the gates blast open. Haram enters like a goddess of war. Unarmed but deadly, Xian watches in pure disbelief. "Stand back," Haram commands. "I'll handle this." Nearby, Seo-jun finally reunites with them. A miracle reunion. But Seo-jun's heart sinks, his beloved wife is nowhere to be found. Panic sets in. 4 hungry souls wake up, ready to face the tower's next nightmare. Bypass or battle. They choose blood. Points mean food, and they are absolutely starving. They breach the final forbidden chamber. Weapons ready, hearts pounding against the looming silence. No monster awaits, only a beautiful girl. She wakes, her eyes reflecting an ancient power. She sees Seo-jun and lunges. A crushing hug replaces what should have been combat. Disaster. If his wife saw this final boss hugging him, he'd be truly dead. The group gasps. A secret lover? They're already preparing to leak this to his wife. Seo-jun pushes the final boss away. "Not here! The others are watching!" Fatal mistake. Rejection ignites the demon blood. The beauty transforms into a horrific, bloodthirsty nightmare queen. Her aura is suffocating. This isn't just a boss. It's an overpowered child of darkness. She summons a tide of minions. A rain of lethal projectiles follows her every command. Haram smirks, summoning a massive tank. Time for some high-tech, heavy metal destruction. Class: Weapon Collector. Haram's skill? Pulling any legendary weapon from a hidden divine subspace. She is a mobile armory. No reloads needed, she just summons a fresh, loaded replacement. Total focus. She channels her mana, manifesting a storm of steel from the void. Running dry? Never. She swaps gears instantly, bypassing the weight of physical ammunition entirely. Aristocratic carnage. The heavy fire turns the monster horde into nothing but red mist. Xian charges the queen. Her blade strikes, but the boss's skin is harder than diamond. Clang! Metal screams. Daeho seizes the opening, delivering a heavy blow to her leg. The queen rages. Cowards. Ganging up on a lady? She prepares a devastating counteroffensive. A massive shockwave erupts. The group retreats, barely escaping her lethal, high-tier martial arts. Haram snipes from the shadows. The queen's eyes lock onto her a terrifying death sentence. "Protect the heiress!" Seo-jun shouts. He readies his ultimate strike while the others distract. Daeho and Xian hold the line. Seo-jun lunges, his rookie status hiding monstrous power. One fatal thrust. The queen vaporizes instantly. A mere trainee. Just killed a goddess? System. Queen defeated. 500 points earned. But Seo-jun's mana is completely drained. He collapses into darkness. Safe, for now, under the watchful eyes of his stunned teammates. A legend in the making, they whisper. The third floor's trials are finally over. Alert! The palace is collapsing. 10 minutes to reach the exit or be buried alive. They sprint through the crumbling ruins. The 4th floor portal shimmers in the distance, their only hope. No time for rest. They leap into the unknown, ascending to the next deadly trial. A waiting room appears. There, Seo-jun meets the mysterious and cunning Alexis. "Tired already?" Alexis mocks. "Escape tickets are for sale. But the price is astronomical. 1,000 points?" Seo-jun barely saved 2,000 after nearly dying. Relieved his wife is safe, Alexis reveals points are worthless outside. Spend them all. He regrets every drop of monster-slaying sweat. A master regressor who missed this. He buys a multiplier ticket. 10 times rewards for final bosses. No one buys that suicide trap. Top guilds failed, yet Seo-jun rips the ticket anyway. Chasing legendary loot, he is suddenly warped into a dark forest. Not floor 2. He is dropped into a deep, mysterious woods. A green frog lunges, then begs for mercy. It wants to lead. A squirrel-tailed frog? Strange, but it is his only lead now. He finds a beauty. Wait, another boss? He is solo and cautious. A closer look reveals a small, injured, and lonely child. He offers help, but she fears strangers and tries to flee. He leaves medicine behind, slowly breaking the ice between them. These woods are cursed. He carries the young mage for safety. That frog is her servant? Impressive. Suddenly an arrow whistles. She dodges, suspecting a trap. Dark suspicion flares in her eyes. An assassin strikes. Seo-jun's spear is out in a heartbeat. One strike, one kill. She finally trusts him, climbing back on. He moves like lightning, leaving the poor frog in the dust. Why hunt a child? A prophecy says she will destroy the world. Hunted by heroes everywhere, the forest is her only sanctuary. She begs him to leave before the darkness consumes him too. He almost walks away, but her eyes scream familiar loneliness. She reminds him of the daughter he left behind. I will help you. She doesn't believe him and casts a curse. His heart is pure. The curse shatters against his sincerity. For the first time, someone is kind. She accepts his protection. The little mage finally reveals her true name. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍. System alert. Escort 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒆 out. Finally, the quest begins. Triggered by her name, he regrets not asking hours ago. Where are they? The outskirts of the massive kingdom of lemons. A regressor who is lost. He feels like a total rookie again. Night falls. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 insists on finding a town for her. She fears being recognized, suggesting they just eat wild mushrooms. No more mushrooms. He convinces her to seek a real bed. He tricks a clueless old man into giving them a room. A soft bed. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 dives in like she has found heaven. In this virtual world, he can only summon basic meals. If they were outside, he would buy her a king's feast. She is shy about the cost, but hunger soon wins out. He feeds her, and she devours it. He steps out. Trouble! Soldiers are already surrounding the inn, looking for her. He signals her to hide. The room appears empty to them. Furious, the soldiers charge. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍's spear strikes back instantly. Mistaking this for a low-level training quest, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 channeled his full aura into his spear, shattering the floor. A massive explosion erupted. Amidst the chaos, he chased after the girl, wondering why she hadn't fled already. Now he had to carry her a true exhaustion. Even in the dense forest, the enemy stayed hot on their heels. Low on mana, his blink skill was sealed. He had to rely on pure grit and sprint for his life. Trapped! The leader drew his blade. But 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 had pulled a fast one, hiding the girl elsewhere. Furious at finding only a frog on his back, the leader sent his men hunting while he stayed to duel. No villainous monologues here, he lunged instantly, attacking 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 with ruthless, lethal precision. Struggling with his new powers, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 retreated, desperately trying to gauge the monster's true strength. Just 2 exchanges and his limbs were trembling. The commander didn't give him a single second to breathe. Faced with such overwhelming martial prowess, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 was forced into a desperate defense, unable to counter. He had faced countless legends before, but this pressure was different. Suddenly, his spear began to crack. The weapon shattered. The force of the impact sent 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 flying. This mission was becoming a nightmare. As the swordsman closed in, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 sat defenseless. His loyal spear was nothing but dust and shards. He stared at the enemy's terrifying power. Was it aura, or something far more ancient and sinister? Having survived 1,000 battlefields, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 had never witnessed an energy this suffocatingly heavy. With his weapon destroyed, hope seemed lost. How could he possibly defeat such a monster bare-handed? He gripped the broken shaft. If he regressed now, he'd definitely avoid this cursed town next time. But a hero must die with style. He stood his ground, resolved to fight until his last breath. Without a hint of hesitation, the swordsman lunged again, seeking to finish the job once and for all. Running was no longer an option. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration struck his mind like a lightning bolt. Instead of buffing the spear's tip, he coated the entire weapon in a super-hardened magical shell. The counterattack began. The newbie suddenly moved with the ferocity of a god, catching the leader off guard. The commander fell. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 seized a horse and galloped off to rescue the young girl, Ed. Ed was speechless. No one had ever survived a duel with that monster, let alone defeated him. Well, I guess I'm the first legend to do it, he joked, even as enemy reinforcements surrounded them. With their captain held hostage, the soldiers hesitated, their blades trembling as they watched the duo. Realizing they wouldn't back down easily, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 sent Ed ahead on the horse while he stayed behind. Though worried sick, Ed rode like the wind, praying for the mysterious warrior's safe return. Once she vanished from sight, the system suddenly pinged. Mission complete. He was instantly warped back. It was all a trial. The bear explained the goal was merely escaping the forest, much to his frustration. He nearly died for a simple escape quest. To make matters worse, the reward was just blank paper. No one ever took this quest due to the trash rewards, but the bear kept its word. 10 times the points. With a mountain of points to spend, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 went on an epic shopping spree for legendary gear. He chose the most expensive weapon available, the Overlord's spear despite not being able to take it outside. He hurried back to show his team. Witness the Overlord's spear, a mythical relic of the ancient island era. His comrades were awestruck by its beauty, though they lamented it would disappear once they left the dungeon. With his heirloom spear broken, this was his only hope to conquer the terrifying boss of Floor 5. Iram argued that buying a potion would have made him a billionaire, but Seo-jun had different priorities. For the sake of his daughter's future, this spear was the only investment that truly mattered. Floor 5 was a graveyard for veteran hunters, yet the party moved forward with grim determination. Lured by legendary treasures, they stepped into the portal, their fear masked by the hunger for victory. They emerged in a magnificent palace, its architecture built for giants rather than mere mortals. No monsters appeared. They wandered the halls like tourists in a museum, until Seo-jun pushed a door. Suddenly, massive stone statues sprang to life. But before they could strike, they abruptly froze mid-motion. The guardians fell to their knees, sensing the absolute authority of the king's ring upon his finger. Seo-jun gazed at the ring, marveling at its mystical and boundless potential. While the others struggled with the door, Seo-jun pushed it open, effortlessly. They entered a chilling chamber where a heavy, ominous aura choked the air. Seated upon a dark throne was the formidable boss of the 5th floor. Seo-jun expected an easy victory, but a true nightmare was just awakening. The beast unleashed fire and ice, forcing the team into a desperate retreat. Dae-ho begged to flee, but Seo-jun readied his weapon for battle. He charged forward, wielding a spear that pulsed with ancient, legendary power. With one strike, he shattered the magic, leaving his comrades in total awe. He revealed his weapon, the ꒂ𝒍, the mythical spear of hero Diarmuid. Gifted by the priest Oz, this relic possessed the power to nullify magic. This boss was nothing compared to the terrifying power his daughter possessed. Uhi fired a precision shot, but the boss's barrier deflected it with ease. An impenetrable shield protected the throne, mocking all forms of physical assault. With bullets failing, the girls retreated, leaving the final duel to Seo-jun. Refusing to leave empty-handed, he lunged at the boss with lethal intent. The boss retaliated with massive boulders, a physical threat the spear couldn't break. Just as disaster struck, Dae-ho intervened to shatter the incoming stones. He saved Seo-jun's life, but the boss instantly froze the entire room. Glacial ice trapped Seo-jun's feet, rendering him a helpless, sitting duck. Dae-ho lunged forward, smashing the defense to create one final opening. The girls seized the moment, unleashing a devastating barrage of arrows and lead. The boss vanished into mist, yet the system announcement remained hauntingly silent. As they investigated the throne, a violent tremor shook the dungeon's core. A colossal dragon erupted from the earth, radiating a soul-crushing pressure. This legendary predator was leagues beyond anything they had ever faced before. Their attacks bounced off its scales, which were harder than enchanted steel. A single tail swipe shattered the ground, sending shockwaves through the party. Iram fell with shattered ribs, sparking panic in Seo-jun's protective heart. If she died here, her father's wrath would surely destroy his entire company. Seo-jun stopped the others from a suicide charge against the invincible beast. Facing certain death, he desperately searched for a way to slay the dragon. Suddenly, a swarm of lesser monsters crawled out, surrounding the exhausted team. Despair loomed, but Xian stepped forward, determined to prove her hidden worth. Shielded by her allies, she realized these minions were surprisingly weak. Her confidence surged as she carved through the horde with lethal precision. The group united in a frantic dance of steel, arrows, and blood. But exhaustion took its toll, and Dae-ho collapsed from his grave wounds. Despite her agony, Iram provided cover fire to protect their flank. Uhi noticed the monsters recoiled from her as if she were poison. Her cloak's curse-repelling aura was the key to surviving this hellish swarm. Seo-jun's eyes blazed. He had finally found a way to win. Uhi threw him the cloak, and he donned it like a legendary shroud. He plunged into the horde, though the dragon remained a mountain-sized obstacle. The beast struck with fury while Uhi desperately rained arrows from above. Despite her heavy wounds, Iram relentlessly provides cover fire with every weapon she has left. Ammo runs dry as monsters swarm like a plague from the earth, driving her to a desperate madness. She hurls grenades everywhere, barely missing her team as the monsters finally fall in the fire. As Iram loses consciousness, Xian and Uhui rush forward to shield Seo-jun's future bride. Dressing for a date in a boss raid, Xian scoffs, shedding her gown to reveal hidden battle armor. Now a lethal phantom, she dives in, but only 3 warriors remain standing against the horde. With Day H and Irem depleted, the overwhelming pressure of the boss is the only wall left. Zeon leaps with a roar, delivering a strike so fierce it severs the boss's massive tail. Seo Jun watches in awe, wondering what kind of hidden monster energy dwells within this girl. Seeing the beast falter, Seo Jun seizes the opening, channeling every drop of mana into his final strike. His new spear pierces the beast's core, slamming the monster into the abyss of the far wall. The effort drains his soul, and as he collapses, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 abandons everything to catch her beloved husband. Forget sisterhood, he is her world. But the boss rises, radiating a murderous, icy intent. Her jaw drops. No monster has ever walked away from Seo Jun's ultimate killing move before. Is the legend of its invincibility true? A wave of freezing frost erupts, shattering their hope. Rocks fly and hope fades. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 collapses in tears, watching the beast prepare a finishing blow. In a desperate act of love, 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 throws herself in front of the lethal strike to save Seo Jun. Awakening to a nightmare, Seo Jun is crushed. The strength he sought was meant to protect her. This cruelty is too much for any hero. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 whispers her final goodbye, fading before his eyes. "Take care of our daughter," she breathes. Seo Jun's heart shatters, turning into a vengeful fire. Gripping his spear, he curses his arrogance for ignoring Alexis's warnings and rushing into this hell. His recklessness led to this slaughter. If only he had planned better and not played God. If only he hadn't overestimated his strength in this trial tower. She would still be here. Instead of saving his wife, his pride paved the way to her early grave. Powerless and broken, Seo Jun prepares for the end. But the boss strikes, sending him flying. As his soul drifts, the 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 girl he saved in the woods appears like a spectral vision. "Don't you dare die," she scolds. "Have you forgotten your promise to survive no matter what? What about your daughter? A father's empty promise is a heavy sin." Her words snap him back. Determination blazes in his eyes. He must return to his daughter, C, or she loses everything. A 5-year-old child should not face the world alone, robbed of both parents by his failure. He has failed her in many lifetimes. This time, he will not let her life end in tragedy. Seo Jun gambles everything on the Sovereign Ring. Physical power and mana skyrocket as ancient energy surges. Returning from the brink, he charges like a god of war, striking the boss with pure fury. No wasted movement. His strike shatters the beast's legendary hide, sinking deep into its monstrous heart. Blood and agony finally bear fruit. The monster's screams echo as it finally begins to bleed. Suddenly, his weapon glows, shifting from a calm blue to a sinister, royal purple. It was immune to magic, yet it amplifies his temporary buffs to a godlike scale. Truly insane. But the ring's power is fleeting. He cannot waste a single second of this borrowed divinity. Gathering every ounce of his existence, Seo Jun delivers the final, decisive thrust through the creature. The boss was a titan, but Seo Jun's desperation was a force of nature. The nightmare ends. As the beast falls, the system whispers, "My king, you have finally returned. I have waited." Seo Jun is dazed, wondering if this is a hallucination as the monster explodes into pixels. Then, the official chime rings. Tutorial dungeon conquered. The first ever hidden clear is achieved. Calculating massive rewards. Alpha tester Seo Jun earns 22,750 points and special prizes. The ring's light dims as his borrowed strength vanishes. His body returns to its mortal limits. Mana stabilizes. The ring consumed his humanity, but the white ticket triggered. Seo Jun wakes at home, but instead of his wife, 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 awaits. She's now a stunning 18-year-old, perfect for some intense morning training. She absorbs the ring's corruption, shielding Seo Jun's soul from the darkness. No illusion. She is real. She advises gifting his cloak for protection. Shockingly, she knows about his daughter, a secret he never shared before. "I'm a witch, don't ask." She warns of the looming butterfly effect. Every timeline change ripples. The future is shifting beyond his control. Small anomalies are stacking up, hidden but ready to shatter reality. A violent storm is coming, one Seo Jun cannot weather by himself. He despairs. Despite his strength, he failed to change the vital fates. 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒍 reveals a miracle. "Your wife is alive." He is utterly stunned. The white ticket was a restoration ticket, a legendary tool of time. It rewound the party's time to the moment before the slaughter. Everyone is restored. The tragedy has been erased, as if by magic. She survived only because she died within the tower's unique void. Miracles won't happen outside the tower. With that, her time ends. As the beauty begins to fade, Seo-jun tries his luck. She promises a next time and vanishes into the empty air. System alert. Alpha tester perks unlocked. Personal status menu is open. Title: Spearman. Skill: Extreme Piercing. Unique perk: Title exchange enabled. He demands a transfer. His daughter needs this salvation more than him. Perks are for elite hunters. Once granted, they are permanently bound. He laments. His daughter, the future final boss, isn't here to save. Her cursed title caused all her misery. He wanted to break fate. A missed chance. If only he had brought her along today. Will 15 years of spear mastery vanish if he changes titles? The system confirms. Battle experience remains. His hard work is safe. Seo-jun evolves his power, adding the growth attribute to Spearman. The growth title awakens. Our hero's legendary ascension officially begins. What will Seo-jun do next? Find out in the next episode.